Hello, my dear viewers and class 10 students. Welcome back to my channel, Scorpio Class. In this video, we are going to see a detailed explanation of a chapter from First Language English textbook of class 10 from Karnataka board. And this video contains explanation of the chapter A Wrong Man in Workers' Paradise written by Rabindranath Tagore. So let's get started. So before starting the chapter, let's see about the author. The author is Rabindranath Tagore, born in 1861 and died in 1941. He is our national poet. He had a multifaceted personality. He was not only a great poet, but also a genius in music, painting, acting, choreography, etc. He was the first Indian to receive the Nobel Prize. He was awarded the honor in 1913 for his Gitanjali, a collection of poems. Tagore's work often explores themes of societal structures, individuality, and the human condition, and this story is no exception. Right? So we got to know how well versed our author was. He is a national poet. He has won so many prizes and awards, and his themes is usually based on the societal structures. Basically, whatever happens in the society, the condition of the human, and the similar way this story is also no exception. It is from one of the same themes which is mentioned over here. So let's check out. So main theme of the chapter here is a wrong man in workers paradise is the importance of individuality and creative pursuits in the world obsessed with productivity and conformity. The story critiques a society that values the efficiency and collective happiness above all else, showcasing the struggles of an individual who does not fit the mold. Like here, the story critiques about the values that the society poses on an individual. They are not bothered about how the individual is suitable for that in that era, in that norm, in their rules or values, but they are just bothered about the societal norms. So let's see what are those conditions, those kind of conditions in which the individuals struggle here. So let's see what does this chapter highlights. So basically, this is a chapter which says about a man who is totally in a different world. So let's see how the people over there critique him and what happens at the end. So let's start. The man had never believed in the mere utility. Having had no useful work, he indulged in mad whims. He made little pieces of sculpture, men, women, and castles, quaint earthen things dotted over with seashells. He painted. Thus, he wasted his time on all that was useless, needless. People laughed at him. At times, he vowed to shake off his whims, but they lingered in his mind. So, there was a man who never believed in any usefulness, useful works, you can say. He always did all unnecessary works, like he was indulged in mad whims. Whims means the sudden desires or thoughts which came in his mind. Those were fanciful ideas which came in his mind. He made little pieces of sculpture, means making carving or drawing and painting. He made the paintings and the sculpture of men, women, and castles on the earthen pots. He dotted over with seashells. Like he used to paint and made all the artistic things which had no value in that society, in that place. Thus, he wasted his time on all this useless and needless work. People thought this work of painting is useless and they laughed at him. And he at times thought to remove this whims from his mind, but it always lingered in his mind. It always came around in his mind, and he could not come out of this work. Some boys seldom ply the books and yet pass their tests. A similar thing happened to this man. He spent his earth life in useless work, and yet after his death, the gates of heaven opened wide for him. But the moving finger writes even in heaven. So it came to pass that the aerial messenger who took charge of the man made a mistake and found him a place in workers' paradise. In this paradise, you find everything except leisure. Here men say, God, we haven't a moment to spare. Women whisper, let's move on, time's flying. All exclaim, time is precious. We have our hands full. We make use of every single minute. They sigh complainingly, and yet those words make them happy and exalted. Okay, so here you see that as an example is given that as some boys they never use their books. They seldom ply their books and yet they pass their tests. Means some boys who never use their books but yet they manage to pass their tests and exams. Similar thing happened to this man who did all useless work according to the people in the earth life. And after his death, he passed the exam. That means he was entered in the heaven. The gates of heaven were opened for him. So how did this happen? So the moving finger writes even in heaven. So there were some aerial messengers who used to write the names of the people who would enter the heaven. So it was a mistake of this aerial messenger who entered the wrong man's name in the heavens list. And this is how this man who never did any useful work in earth entered in paradise or entered in heaven. In this paradise, you find everything except leisure. Leisure means free time, spare time, where you have no work to do. So you find everything except leisure. There will be no free time. People are so busy. So here you can see that men always kept saying that there is not even a moment to spare. Let's move on. Time's flying. Time is so precious. We have so much of work. They complained, but with sigh, and that words make them happy. They said it happily. They never complained in a wrong manner, but they were happy with whatever work they had. Even though they had no free time, they were very happy with this. Okay, let's see further. But this newcomer who had passed all his life on earth without doing a scrap of useful work did not fit in with this scheme of things in workers' paradise. He lounged in the streets absently and jostled the hurrying men. He lay down in the green meadows or close to the fast flowing streams and was taken to task by busy farmers. He was always in the way of others. A bustling girl went every day to a silent torrent. Silent, since in the workers' paradise, even a torrent wouldn't waste its energy singing to fill her pitchers. Now, here, this newcomer was not at all fitting in this paradise, in workers' paradise, because people were so busy in work, and this man, he was totally free. He had no work to do. He just moved around, loitered around in the streets absently without having any work, and he jostled the hurrying men. Jostle means dashed and pushed the hurrying men because they were so hurried that they never had this time to just check out whether they are going to push somebody or what. And this man very freely he looked here and there and just walked pushing each other. Okay, so then he laid down freely in the green meadows. He enjoyed his life there. He used to be near the flowing streams and he used to look at the busy farmers, but he was always without any work. There was also a bustling girl who went every day to a silent torrent. Now, your torrent is a stream, fast flowing stream, okay, a water stream. So it is mentioned as silent torrent because even the torrent was not having any time to free time to waste its energy. And this girl used to every day go to the torrent to fill her pitchers. Her pitchers, pitchers. This spelling of pitchers means a jug, a large water pot. Okay, so she went with the pitcher to fill the water from this torrent, from this stream. Now, the girl's movement on the road was like a rapid movement of a skilled hand on the strings of a guitar. Her hair was carelessly done. Inquisitive wisps peeped often over her forehead to peer at the dark wonder of her eye. So this girl, how was she? How is it described that her movements were so fast, so rapid, as if a guitarist play guitar and he runs his fingers over the strings. That was the speed of the girl. And she was so busy with the work that she was not getting time to do her hairs and everything was just lying on her forehead. Okay, next. The idler was standing by the stream as a princess sees a lonely beggar and is filled with pity. So the busy girl of heaven saw this one and was filled with pity. So here, this idol man who was standing. He was just standing idly, and this busy girl looked at him and she felt so pity that he has no work to do. As a princess would feel pity by looking at a lonely beggar, same kind of pittiness was filled in the hearts of the girl while she saw this man having no work with him. Ah, she cried with concern. You have no work in hand, have you? The man sighed. Work? I have not a moment to spare for work. The girl did not understand his words and said, I shall spare some work for you to do if you like. So here this girl, with out of pity and concern, she asked him, You have no work to do? If you want, I would give you some work. So the man, he with a sigh, he said, Work? I have not a moment to spare for work. He says that I don't have a time to spare for work, to take out and do some work. The girl did not understand his words, and then she just offered him that if you want to have some work, I shall give you. And then let's see what the man replied. Girl of silent torrent, all this time, I have been waiting to ask some work from your hands. What kind of work would you like? Will you give me one of your pictures on that you can spare? So he said then, Yes, I was always waiting for some work from your side, and the work is that I want your picture, the large water pot which she had, one that you can spare. Can you spare one picture to me? She had two of it. So the man was asking one pictures from her. So let's see. She asked, A pitcher? You want to draw water from the torrent? She thought maybe he's asking a pitcher to draw water, to take water from the torrent. He said, No, I shall draw pictures on your picture. That means he said, I shall draw pictures, let's draw paint. I may paint on your picture. This picture is a large jug. Okay. The girl was annoyed. She got angry. Pictures, indeed, I have no time to waste on such as you. I am going, and she walked away. So she got angry and she moved because she thought this is wastage of time. Like painting is of useless work, they thought, right? Now, but how could a busy person get the better of one who had nothing to do? Every day they met, and every day he said to her, Girl of silent torrent, give me one of your clay pictures. I shall draw pictures on it. So every day he used to ask this busy person to give her one picture to him so that he can draw pictures on it. She yielded at last. She gave him one of her pictures. The man started painting. He drew line after line. He put color after color. When he had completed his work, the girl held up the picture and stared at its sides, her eyes puzzled, brows drawn. She asked, What do they mean? All those lines and colors? What is the purpose? The man laughed. Nothing. A picture may have no meaning and serve no purpose. Okay, so when this person kept on asking her to give one of her pictures, at last she gave him one picture and the man started painting. He drew lines after lines and he put color after color on it. And when it got completed, he gave back the picture to the girl and she started staring at it without any sense, without any knowledge. Like, what is it? She was totally clueless. She asked with her brows drawn, like with a confused state, that what does these lines and colors mean? What are those purposes of these lines and colors? The man laughed at her and he said, Nothing. A picture may have no meaning and no purpose, but it is just an art. So the girl went away with her picture. At home, away from prying eyes, she held it in the light, turning it round and round and scanned the painting from all angles. At night, she moved out of bed, lighted a lamp, and scanned it again in silence. For the first time in her life, she had seen something that had no meaning and no purpose at all. So, girl was totally confused. She was so much involved in it that even late at night, she used to get up, light a lamp and scan the picture again and again to understand, like, what is it, what does it mean? But it had no meaning and no purpose at all. So in her life, for the first time, she had seen something which was without any meaning and purpose. Now, when she set out for Torrent the next day, her hurrying feet were little less hurried than before, for a new sense seemed to have awakened in her, a sense that seemed to have no meaning and no purpose at all. She saw the painter standing by the torrent and asked in confusion, What do you want of me? Only some more work from your hands. What kind of work would you like? Let me make a colored ribbon for your hair, he answered. And what for? Nothing. Ribbons were made bright with colors. The busy girl of workers' paradise had now to spend a lot of time every day tying the colored ribbon around her hair. The minutes slipped by unutilized. Much works were left unfinished. Okay, so see the effect that she had on her mind and on her work just after seeing the art, the color, and the paint on the picture. And the next day, we could see the change in her behavior, in her walk, the feet, the hurrying feet which she had earlier now had become less hurried. Now she has got a new awakening, that thinking on something which has no meaning and no purpose at all. Now, next day, the painter, when was standing near the torrent again, he was asked a question by a girl. Now, what do you want of me now? He said, I want one more work from your hands. And now he's asking for her ribbon so that he can color it. And he colored the ribbon and gave her away, gave her back. And that those colorful ribbons were so bright and so good that now girls started spending time in making her hairs and putting that colored ribbon, and that made her to waste some time in it, utilize some time in it. So because of it, she had much of her work left unfinished and pending, so which had not happened any time before, but now it started happening like this because she was busy in some useless or senseless works which she never knew earlier. Now, in workers' paradise, work had of late begun to suffer. Many persons who had been active before were now idle, wasting their precious time on useless things such as painting and sculpture. The elders became anxious. A meeting was called. All agreed that such a state of affairs had so far been unknown in the history of the workers' paradise. The aerial messenger hurried in, bowed before the elders, and made a confession. I brought a wrong man into this paradise, he said. It is all because of me, all because of him. Now, here, workers' paradise, the entire workers' paradise had started to suffer from the late works. The many works were pending, and many people were influenced by this art and sculpture, and they had much of the works which were pending. Now, elders became very anxious, very curious, and very angry when they got to know all these things. They called for a meeting, and everyone agreed. There was a meeting where Ariel Messenger also hurried. He bowed before the elders, and he made a confession. He found himself as a guilt. He said, it's my mistake that I bought a wrong man in workers' paradise, and this is because of this man who has created all this uh, like waste and useless things and senseless things come in this heaven. Now the man was summoned. As he came, the elders saw his fantastic dress, his quaint brushes, his paints, and they knew at once that he was not the right sort of person for the workers' paradise. Now, the man was called upon there. People saw him dressed in a fantastic way and with all the brushes and with his paints, and they thought that this man is not suitable for workers' paradise, is not the right person to be here. Stiffly, the president said, there is no place for the person like you. You must leave. Now he was given the decision was given by the president that there's no place for such kind of person in the heaven, and he was asked to leave. The man sighed in relief and gathered up his brush and paints, but as he was about to go, the girl of the silent torrent came up tripping and cried, wait a moment, I shall come with you. Even she started going along with the person because he never refused or argued anything, but he just picked up his stuffs and he just about to go. And then this girl who was totally influenced by this man's art was also ready to go along with him. The elders gasped in surprise. Never before had a thing like this happened in workers' paradise. A thing that had no meaning and no purpose at all. So, with this action of girl, the elders were surprised because it had never happened before in workers' paradise. A thing that had no meaning and no purpose at all. So, it was really a strange and surprising thing. So, this is the end of the chapter where the man was asked to leave, and along with him, the girl also left the paradise. And this was a shocking and surprise thing in the paradise for all the people. Now we have some glossary which we have already seen in this lesson. Let's quickly have a glance at it. Whim is sudden desire, which I think I mentioned in the chapter. Then quaint, it means fanciful or attractive in an unusual way. So the man was quaintly dressed, fancifully and attractively dressed in an unusual way, right? Linger continued to exist longer than expected. The whimsical ideas lingered in his mind. This is what we read. Ply. Okay, pry means to read. When some of the boys, they seldom ply their books, right? Ply means read. Moving finger means fate, destiny, fate or destiny. Aerial messenger is nothing but God's messenger. Exalted means feel delighted or elated or happy also you can say. Jostle, to push roughly against. Bustling, moving in a hurried way. Absently, without concentrating on what is happening. Okay, so these were some of the glossary words from the chapter. I hope the chapter is understood by you all. It was a detailed explanation, and if you haven't got it or you have missed some of the points, you can just replay the video and see it once again. And quickly, I'll be putting a short summary, like a synopsis kind of this chapter or a mind map, you can say. So stay tuned and subscribe to the channel. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, like, share, and comment on the video. Thank you.